Yo guys, it's the Badger, welcome back to another video. In this video I will be starting my new series and I will be showing in this series the gradual change of my gaming setup, hence why the series is called The Setup. And for the first episode I will be showing you how I built the PC, the specs of the PC and how the PC deals with 5 different games, which are Forza Horizon 4, Fortnite, Rocket League, CSGO and
a few moments later.
Minecraft, how could I forget Minecraft? Alright, the timestamps for everything in this video are in the description, and let's get into it. Alright, first things first, the specs. Here are all the specs of my build on screen now. I will go over the specs in more detail when I show you how I built the PC, which is what I'm going to do now. First thing that I had to do was unbox the motherboard and place the motherboard back onto the box that it came in. My motherboard is an Asus B450F gaming motherboard, and the main features are that it's Ryzen 3rd Gen compatible, can have up to 128GB of DDR4 4400 MHz memory and has 2 M.2 drive slots. The reason I placed the motherboard back onto the box is because the box is not a conductor material, so it reduces the risk of the motherboard being damaged while we're working on it. Now that the motherboard is safely on its box, we now need to add the brain to the system, the CPU. My CPU is an AMD Ryzen 5 3600. It has 6 cores, 12 threads, has a base clock of 3.6 GHz and a boost clock of 4.2, which means it's nice and speedy, and it's got all those cores for when you want to do your video editing and all that kind of stuff. All I had to do with the CPU was to put it in the little square on the motherboard and then carefully lower down the metal lever to keep it in place. Then, to keep the CPU cool, I installed the stock cooler from AMD. Now, I did this by unscrewing these little mounting things, and then I placed the cooler onto the holes that the mounting things used to be on. Then I screwed the cooler into those holes and plugged in the cooler into a port above the CPU. Next up is the memory. I've gone for 2 8GB sticks of Corsair's Vengeance DDR4 memory, and that has a base clock of 3200 MHz, so it's nice and quick and it's perfect for what I will be doing with my PC. To install the memory, all you need to do is push down on the latches on the memory slots and then put your memory inside there. Then with an even amount of pressure, push down on the memory and it'll click into place. You'll know that your memory is seated properly when you can hear that nice click sound, and the little latch that you've had to push down will now be facing upwards. Now it's time for my first bit of storage, which is the Corsair MP510, which is a 240GB M.2 drive, and it's nice and quick because it's an M.2 drive, and that means it has a read speed of 3480 MB a second and a write speed of 2000 MB a second. All you have to do to install the M.2 drive is to put it into the M.2 drive slot on your motherboard, and then you just screw it down with your screwdriver and boom, you've got your storage in. Once I had done that, it was time to place the motherboard inside the case. Once the motherboard was screwed in, I started to plug it in the cables from the case, like the top I/O and the fan cables. And the case that I'm using is a Corsair Carbide Series Spec Delta, and I like it. It comes with 3 RGB fans at the front, single fan at the back that isn't RGB, but obviously you can always upgrade in the future. At the top though, it does have 2 USB ports and a headphone jack, a power button and a restart button, so it's a good case. Now that those cables have been dealt with, it's time to put in the power supply. I've gone for a Cooler Master 500 watt power supply, but it isn't modular, but it hasn't blown up and it's been running really fine for my build, so I'll take that as a win. All you have to do to secure the power supply into the PC is use 4 screws, and it just screws into the back and it's sorted, nice and secure. So now that the power supply is installed, I could just go straight away and start putting all the cables from the power supply into the motherboard and then we'd have a PC. But if I want to have a PC, I also need somewhere to put my games, and I haven't got enough storage for that on my M.2 drive. So I got a second storage device, which is a SanDisk 1TB SSD. I've just installed that to the back of the case and I just plugged that in. Now that we've got all the storage in, we can now plug everything in from the power supply all the way up to the motherboard and leave all the other spare cables around the back. Now, I would go on to the bit about my graphics card now and showing you plugging it in and all that good stuff, but I forgot to film that. But I do have some news about my graphics card, because the graphics card isn't actually mine. I have been lent very kindly an Nvidia 980. This is because I'd already purchased everything for my PC to work except the graphics card. And without the graphics card I can't send an output through HDMI or DisplayPort to a TV or a monitor. So I was very kindly lent an Nvidia 980 for me to use for the time being, because my plan is, in a couple of weeks, Nvidia are launching the RTX 3060 and I'm going to buy one of those, and then he can have his graphics card back and I can have a new one, which is very good. So thank you again for letting me have that graphics card for the time being, and that is my situation with the graphics card that isn't mine. But what I did manage to get footage of is the PC posting for the first time. It has worked. Now, yeah, you didn't actually see the bit where it posted, but we'd managed to get into the BIOS, and then since we got into the BIOS, we then installed Windows, and now have a working PC, which you can see behind me. And now we're going to get into testing the PC in those 5 games. So let's get into it. The first game that we will be testing is Forza Horizon 4, and as with all the other games, we will be playing that on maximum settings. So, on most of the games that we will be testing today, there is a thing called VSync, and that means it optimizes the frames that you will be getting for the type of display that you have, and my display maxes out at 60 FPS. So obviously, because I've got this on, it tries to make the game smoother by limiting my frames to 60 FPS, but it will make the gameplay look a lot smoother with it turned on. So for the first test, I will leave it turned on, see what we get then, and then I will turn it off, move the frames to unlocked, and then we will see what we get without VSync. Let's get right into it. As we spawn into our random little location, we are on about 56 frames, and it does look kind of laggy, and this is probably because I never play on extreme settings. As we start driving, it doesn't look too laggy, which is good. Oh look at that, maxing out at 60. I thought I would. Still nice and smooth on 60 FPS still. And just driving about, we're not even using all the GPU, which is good. It's weird how it changes depending on which area you go in the game. But around the spawn, because you normally spawn in that house that's up there, we're on about 60 frames per second, which is brilliant. Alright, now VSync is off and frame rate is unlocked. We'll drive about and see what we get then. Ooh, we're getting about 66 frames in this area. Yeah, anywhere from 60 to 70 frames. Doesn't look too laggy either. A bit jittery or laggy to move the car about, but not bad. But you will have noticed we are now using 90, well, basically all of the GPU, because now it's trying to get as many frames for us as possible now the VSync is turned off. Alright, so now you've seen how they look just driving about normally. I will now test them both in the same race. Alright, so we've made it to the race. Before we do it, I will change the settings. First we will test it with VSync on, and then we'll do it with VSync off. I'll only do the first bit of the race and see how it is. So we have dropped down. Oh no, the position is in front of me, in front of the frames. Oh no. Well, I can kind of read through it, and I know that we're getting about 52 frames, which I guess isn't bad, is it? Almost at 60 now that I've zoomed away from everybody else, but if I try and catch up to them, now back into the 50s. Well, as you saw, that was a really bad attempt at a race, but with VSync on, around all the other cars, zooming about like mad, we are getting anywhere from 50 to 60 frames with VSync turned on. Now, we're going to do it with VSync turned off. Restart the event. Yeah, this is very lucky, but frame rate is actually around the same. Still in the 50s, surrounded by all these cars, but now that we're kind of by ourselves, we've just about hit 60 frames. But if we keep on zooming and catch up to these dudes, again we drop back down to the 50s. Haven't hit 40 yet, so that's good. If we go close to cars, drops into the 50s. We go away from the cars, gets to about 60. Alright, now let's head on to the next game. As you can see, for the second game that we will be testing, we're doing Fortnite. So I'm just going to go into one game with absolutely maxed out settings. Alright, let's head into a game of solos. As you can see, got all the details up here. Reason I didn't have these on in Forza is because for some reason they're not supported. Running around in the lobby, we are getting about 100 frames. Yeah, about 100 frames. What if we do some shooting? Go to all these people. That's a bit intense, isn't it? Oh yeah, went down to 99 there. Ooh. Right, where are we dropping? I am going to whatever that place is. So, as we were flying down, you saw what we got then, but as we are gliding here, still getting about 100 frames per second. Dropping onto the building, get a fishing rod, pistol. But running about this building, we are still getting just above 100 frames. Jump down here and we'll try and get kills and see how it goes then. Ooh, frames went down to 80s then. I wonder why. Still no sign of people though. Oh, hello, found someone. Oh, we got a kill. And you saw what happened to the FPS then, as I was shooting at that guy. But I just got a kill. Now though, heading over this way, back up to 100 frames. Temps, 60s and 70s, all good. And we're barely using any CPU, but we're kind of maxing out the GPU, which kind of makes sense, I guess. Let's get in a boat, see how they change then. Now that we're in this beast of a boat, we're getting about 80, 90 frames. Oh, found someone. Oh, he's there, shooting at my tree. Shotgun him. Oh! Oh, I hear a car. Oh, it's because I need to get to the ring. I think they've seen me. Oh no, they can build. Oh no. Oh, doesn't matter. Alright, let's go. Out of the storm. Now we're in the storm, you saw the frames drop down to about 70 then while I was fighting that dude. Let's build myself a little hut. And then I can pop a med kit. Head into the next ring. We've got quite a distance to go actually. We could do with munching on some stuff to make us go quicker, them crystal things. And as I'm on my way to munch on them crystals, we're still hovering at about 90 to 80 frames. Not quite at 100 yet. There we go, munch on one of them. And while we're teleporting about, we are on 100 frames. Almost at the ring now. Ooh, look at that. We've shot up to 123 frames. Must be nobody around. Oh. Speak of nobody being around. Oh no, that's a... No, these marauders. Oh no. Oh no. These guys are gonna destroy me. I'm off. I'm not dying to these. I think we're safe, to be honest. Oh no. Who's that? Who's that? Wait, hold on. Is that a real person? That's a real person. Well, there you go. Came 17th, and you saw what we got. But now that we've finished one game of Fortnite, we're getting about 72 degrees on the GPU and 66 degrees on the CPU. Alright, now let's head into the third game, which is Rocket League. Here we are in Rocket League. As you can see, all the settings are maxed. I'm going to quickly change my car, and then we will head into a game. Change my car, so I will head into a game of casual, and we'll see how we do. Alright, so I just had to change some settings there, but I'm back. Off the bat, just zooming about, off walls and stuff. We are getting 250 frames. Oh, when the guy comes closer though, they do drop down a bit. I doubt we will go underneath 200 frames, because again, it's not too hard of a game to run, is it? Yeah, there we go, 1-0 up. But temperatures, I'm guessing again, we're going to stay around the 60s, still above 200 frames. As soon as we go away from that dude, the frames do go up a bit, which is good. There we go, another goal up to us. Woohoo! Ooh, can I do it? Can I do it? And I did it! Woo! Wow! Still haven't gone over 70 degrees on the GPU or CPU. Is climbing a bit actually. We're now sitting about 68 degrees. So we will have to wait and see if we go above 70. But I don't know. I have a feeling we'll stay around here. And we've scored again. Oh, winner by forfeit. Brilliant. So there you go. That was the game of Rocket League, and now you know how everything handles. Now I need to go on to the fourth game, which is CSGO. Alright, as you can see, we are in CSGO. Everything is already on very high if it can be, which is brilliant, isn't it? So, let's go into a game of Dust 2, and let's see how we do. Alright, we're in. I am going to... I guess I didn't get to choose then. Cool. Oh, look at that. Let's hit 300 then. 260. Cool. Actually, I'm going to go this way. I always seem to go this way. Feels quite responsive, actually. Nice. 260, 70, 80, 90, 300 frames. Look at that. We'll see what happens. if we shoot someone. Oh, you got him. You got him. Right. What? 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 I didn't know people could see you from there. Well, I'm going in again because that was not a proper test. That. Go these dudes. Alright, so in the practice mode, we are zooming about at 290 frames. Look at that. Still chilling about 60 degrees on everything. Alright, warm-up's ending. Let's get into the actual game. Everybody's going this way. I guess I'm following them. These guys look like they know what they're doing. I'll follow these. Oh, there's people there. My guys, you better not ditch me. Alright, we're being attacked. Oh no. Alright, that is a bad idea. I'm not going down there. I'm zooming this way. Going solo. But when I'm by myself, look at that. 300 frames we just hit right there. Oh, hello. Can you tell that I'm bad at the game? Oh, come on. I am actually terrible at the game. But that doesn't matter. As you saw, we get almost 300 frames just about all the time. So that's brilliant. Now, I will head into the final game, which is Minecraft. So, I'll see you in Minecraft. For the first test, we are going to load into a pre-made world with a lovely mansion sort of thing. And then for the next test, I will load up a new world. And then for the one after that, I will go on the server. And then we'll repeat that process, but with shaders. Stood on a random piece of sand, staring at my mansion that I built. We are getting about 500 frames, which again is completely overkill. Oh, just went to 600, 700, 800, 900. But if we are just running about doing normal stuff, 400, 500, 600 frames. Opening doors, looking at water, and not very hard to render in things. Yeah, lovely swimming pool that goes into the sea. Look at that, 700 frames while swimming. How cool is that? Then just flying about, getting about 500 frames, and temperatures have shot down since CSGO. This is all max settings, by the way. Now, let's build a new world. As you can see, I'm just gonna go creative, keep everything the same, don't really care what it does. But we are creating a new world. And we're in the new world. Just zooming around, loading new stuff in. It's about the same as the other one, to be honest. 600, 700 frames. Still getting mental frames. Like 1,000. Look, I'm just flying about and I just got 1,000 frames. Mental. And again, GPU is still in the 50s. CPU is in the 60s. Now I'd better load up the server and then we can see how that differs. As you can see, we are on the server and just zooming around the main hub area, we're getting around 200, just about 300 frames. Oh, for some reason when we're flying, the frames go up. Probably because the server hasn't actually loaded them in yet. So now that we're in the sky, we're getting 1,211 frames. At the iron farm, we're at about 700 frames. So now we'll go into that mansion that I built with the shaders. As you can see, with some very intense shaders, like this is the shaders turned on maximum actually. Let me show you. There you go. So as you can see, the things that we can change is on 2 and that's the maximum. And I've got all this stuff on, don't know what it does. I'm not going to say it looks that nice because I'm not a fan of the glass texture, but the water looks cool. Walking around, we're getting about 30, almost 35 frames. Oh, just hit almost 40 then. And the temperatures are in the 70s. Yeah, there you go. That is the mansion world, and that's what we get. Now, I'm going to create a new world. New world, create new world, here we go. Oh, and that looks cool. These shaders are really, really nice without glass. I really don't like how the glass looks. I'm guessing I could always change that. We are getting basically the exact same thing. A badger in the sun. How nice. Alright, now let's head on to the server. As you can see, flying about, we're getting just over 40 frames per second. Ooh, almost 50. You can see all the farms and all the glory even though we've only done 2. Don't worry. Yes, I haven't uploaded on the channel for 3 months now. This will be coming out in March. But we'll get back to the content soon. And temperatures, GPU has gone up to 74 and the CPU has gone to 62. Yeah, I'd say kind of what we expected with very... That is it for all the games and testing, and as you can see the system does perform very well. So now, we're going to head to the outro. So, as you can see, my PC does perform great in all 5 of those games. I just wish we could get the thing where it tells us all the temperatures and more advanced details on Forza, but we can't sadly. So that's a shame. But if you did like this video, then please smash the like button. And if you like the content in this channel, then subscribe. But that's it for today's video, so I'll see you in the next one. The Badger, out.